Hello, hello. Here we go. Second day, the fourth Global Empowerment Summit. Diversity is power. That's our topic for this year. And we are welcoming a team from the US, my beautiful friends, Brian, Nancy, and Enrique. And I hope you're ready for some fun and valuable session because they're always making it so special. All of them doing very beautiful things for other people, really selfless, really heart-centered. So please welcome in the studio, first of all, Brian. Hi, Brian. How are you
Hello,
today?
friend. It's so good to be with you.
So nice to have you here. And then I'm bringing up Nancy, the other half. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
Good to see everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for being here. And the new guest, their friend, Enrique, is coming on board too. Hi, Enrique. How are you
Hey,
today?
everybody. Nice to be here.
So nice to have you guys. I will give you the stage. I will leave and see you in 45 minutes when I'm popping up and have a beautiful session. Thank you so much, guys. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Okay, well, we're going to start by saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to our discussion panel from vision to impact, becoming a global thought leader for positive change. And when we were talking about today's session, we were trying to figure out how can we offer the most value, and we came up with, if we could answer some of the most frequently answered questions, that would hopefully help you guys remove any obstacles and answer those questions that you might have about becoming a global thought leader. So I'm going to pass this over to Brian, who's going to get us started, and we're going to jump right in and give you as much information as we can from our experience and hope to inspire you today. You're on mute.
Of course I am. I didn't actually hear the very last thing that you said, Nance, so I'm just trying to make sure that I'm in tune with where we are.
Oh, you're good. I was just going to say that I said that we're addressing the most frequently asked questions, looking to inspire everyone and just give them as much information as we can from our experience.
Fantastic. So yeah, we're gonna be exploring the power and importance of establishing oneself as a global thought leader for positive change. And as Nancy Deborah said, we're gonna be diving right in. So thank you, Andrea. That's much better. Now we're up close and personal. So good to be here with my friends. So yeah, let's dive in. So Nancy, I think you were going to dive into the first question here, yes?
So just going to share a little bit about ourselves first before we start as panelists, about our journey and our becoming global thought leaders and just who we are as people. So I am honored. This is my third year speaking at the Global Empowerment Summit, and I'm so grateful to Andrea for putting this together and growing it year after year and inviting me back, and to all of you for taking your time to join us today. I am Nancy Deborah Barrows, also known as the Queen of Engagement. I am the Chief Engagement Officer at Voice Your Vibe. I am also the creator of the hashtag Radiating Real movement, which encourages everyone to just be yourself and show up without your mask and receive that unconditional love and acceptance that we all deserve. I have been named a 5-time LinkedIn top voice in thought leadership, public speaking, communication, personal coaching, personal branding. I have been named one of the top 50 most impactful people of LinkedIn, one of the top 50 most inspiring connections on LinkedIn. I am a 3-time #1 bestselling author. And maybe the most important thing that I can tell you is that I am a dedicated cat mama, a native New Yorker. Yes, I can talk in a New York accent if you really want me to, and a lover of carrot cake, because that's what makes me real. All that other stuff I'm incredibly proud of, but I don't know how relatable that is yet to a lot of people listening. My journey towards becoming a global thought leader started by accident. Totally and completely by accident when I showed up and I would not go away. I joined LinkedIn during the pandemic. And I live alone with 2 cats. And I had gotten to the point where I was having these long philosophical conversations with my cats. And a friend said to me, you need to jump on LinkedIn, get some people and some community back into your life. And so I did. And what happened was I found a family I didn't know I had and a community I didn't know I needed. And without knowing that I was starting the journey, I started and I went live. I was on somebody's show live, and without thinking or planning, I shared my story. I shared my story about having been sexually abused by my grandfather and an eating disorder and all the trauma that I had been through. And it became clear from that experience that I had a voice that people heard, which is important. It resonated with them. And it went from accidental to intentional. I started being really intentional in what I was doing and why I was doing it. And basically, it was to help one person. If I could help one person feel less alone, make them feel seen, heard, loved, and valued, that was what was important to me. And most importantly, I kept showing up as me. So it became evident through all of this that lasting impact, in order for that to happen, you really need to take it globally. And not only have one vision, which, by the way, changed for me and evolved over time. I came onto LinkedIn and I was going to be the woman who changed the narrative on sexual abuse. And I've become so much more than that. I realized that my voice can help so many more, a much larger group of people. And that's what I've been doing since. I remain true to myself, and I share the ugly, snotty, and unsexy. It has to be relatable. It has to be someone that can look at me and go, oh yeah, I've been there. I get it. And I actively was building and nurturing a like-minded community and creating brave space where I would get vulnerable. I wasn't just walking the walk. I was, not just talking the talk. I was walking the walk. I'm going to show up human. And because I believe in the power of sharing our knowledge, and that makes it wisdom, that's what I was doing. I was giving it away for free at first, right? Just through my posts, chick tips were out there, my articles were out there, and through coaching and live shows and posting and publishing, I was able to help so many people find their voice, break through imposter syndrome, and once they had their voice, to start using it and to encourage them to pursue avenues to share that vision on a global scale, like I'm getting to do today because of Andrea and this amazing space that she creates. I'm going to pass it to Brian next so that he has a chance to tell you about him. And I'm so glad you're here and can't wait to jump into all of this in just a minute.
Thanks, Nancy. My name is Brian Shulman. I'm the founder and CEO of Voice Your Vibe. I have been named the King of Community on LinkedIn by Forbes, known as the godfather and pioneer of LinkedIn video and one of the world's premier live streaming and video marketing experts. I am an 11-time #1 best-selling author, internationally known keynote speaker. Expertise and insights in 2 global award-winning LinkedIn live shows have been featured on everything from NASDAQ, Forbes, Thrive Global, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance, Viacom, Roku TV, Amazon Fire, the CW, multiple #1 best-selling books, syndicated across smart TV networks and hundreds of shows and podcasts reaching millions worldwide. For the last 20 years, I have been on a mission to change the landscape of how we do business, using a heart-centered mindset through growth, a heart-centered growth mindset, leveraging the power of the incredible community of LinkedIn and the platform. And I've been a catalyst in transforming how business is conducted on LinkedIn worldwide. As I mentioned, founder and CEO of Voice Your Vibe, and we have groundbreaking masterminds and heart-centered leadership programs that through my 20 years of experience building and growing startups and a wealth of knowledge of proven leadership expertise to C-suite execs and entrepreneurs globally as an advisor and a mentor, and with a focus and a dedication to making others feel seen, heard, loved, and valued. I have been honored and humbled and recognized by LinkedIn as a 4-time LinkedIn top voice in thought leadership, digital strategy, leadership, brand strategy, named LinkedIn Video Creator of the Year, a 3-time top 50 most impactful people of LinkedIn, 4-time rising star, an influencer to watch, as well as a 2-time global leader of the year out of now over 1 billion people on the platform. I am also the executive producer, creator, and co-host with Nancy Deborah, Voice Your Vibe Live, which includes 2 global award-winning live shows, What's Good Wednesday and Shout Out Saturday, that are broadcast in over 120 countries, have aired over 5 years and 500 consecutive episodes, and we're actually named the best live festive show of the year at the IBM TV Awards. And out of all the achievements and accolades, I will say I'm proudest of my 2 children and the connections that I have made along the way. All that being said, my journey was shaped by growing up as a 1.5-pound miracle baby in the 70s that wasn't supposed to live, growing up with a neurological disorder, who twitched and ticked his way through life, who got bullied and didn't fit in, and who wanted to just blend in when all I could do was really uncontrollably stand out. and who showed up on LinkedIn 20 years ago next month with a purpose of bringing people together, of inspiring one person a day, and of connecting a global community at a time of 1 million people. And now, like I said, over 1 billion, just looking to make a positive change, and found a family and a home that I never knew was there. That's a lot.
and we're first going to learn about Enrique. So one more person in this trio for you guys to hear a little bit about, and then we are going to jump into those most frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Nancy, Brian, Andrea, for having me here today. It's a great pleasure to be sharing this time. I am Enrique Acosta Gonzalez, CEO of Triad Leadership Solutions, where we focus on developing leaders that are either challenged with imposter syndrome, or they've lost their curiosity for leadership, or their love for leadership. And we like to work with them and get them where they should be as leaders. But my journey to global thought leadership started with the Navy. I served in the U.S. Navy for 26 years and retired from there, and said, hey, the Navy has given me this platform to go global. We literally, I only had the Indian Ocean across to actually go around the world. But through those experiences in the Navy, going to different countries, I really grew a love and passion for leadership, but at a global stage versus just what people are normally used to, just a corporate setting, or even just, community or national. And I saw the benefit of having a global mindset when you talk about leadership. It is truly around the world where you can get a true perspective on how to change the world. You can't say you want to change the world and you're living in a block, right? So you have to get out there, explore it. But I really am just appreciative of all the leaders around the globe that I've been able to participate with throughout the years. LinkedIn has been obviously a great platform to be on. And I won't tell all the accolades. You can go there into my profile and read all that. But what I do want to say is that it has been through LinkedIn where I've had great opportunities to interact with global platforms, with global people, with global entities and organizations. And it has been a life-changing experience. And so glad to be here.
Fantastic. Nancy, Enrique, I just want to thank you both for sharing your inspiring stories. All right, so let's delve into the core of our discussion, the power and importance of being a global thought leader. Nancy, how would you define a global thought leader, and what role do they play in making a positive difference worldwide?
All right, well, I had to put on my glasses. I apologize for the glare in advance.
Thank you for joining us.
For all of you to be in focus, this is how it works. I didn't want to wear it for the beginning part because the glare, I feel like, sort of makes it like I'm not really here with you, but it's better that I can actually see. So, yes. So how would I define a thought leader, a global thought leader? My thought leader is someone who has knowledge and wisdom and shares it freely. They're going to approach and view things from a unique perspective or look at things differently. They are someone whose ideas resonate beyond borders and cultures and industry, and that their vision is that it's bigger than them. They have the ability to influence people, their perspectives, their thoughts. They're on a global scale to spark that conversation. They look ahead. They are willing to take chances, and they're failing publicly and sharing the struggle. They're innovating and breaking down walls and bursting through barriers, and they're empowering people by sharing the knowledge they have, and they inspire others to do the same. You have to remember that a rising tide lifts all ships. So it's people who become trusted voices through honesty, vulnerability, and transparency. And in today's connected world, their impact extends far beyond local communities. They are catalysts for broader societal transformations. Being a global thought leader is about leveraging your experience and addressing global challenges. It is not just about personal success, but about using your voice and your influence to amplify the voices of others that might not otherwise be heard. And for me, a big hallmark of a global thought leader is they inspire others to act. They make people want to contribute and change the world on a bigger level, and help them to trust their own voice and believe that they can be and already are a thought leader.
That's a great answer, Nancy Deborah. Enrique.
Yeah.
Same for you. How would you define a global thought leader, and what role do they play in making a positive difference worldwide?
Yeah, a global thought leader, simply put, is someone that can take who they are, place themselves anywhere in the world, and still have an impact that will better their surroundings, their communities, and wherever it is that they are touching. And seldom you find leaders that can travel the globe and still impact, regardless of where they go. So that is a global thought leader, and how they play in making a positive difference in worldwide. Well, they actually get to touch the heart of the world. And when you touch the heart, regardless of the circumstances of upbringings, of regions, of customs and traditions, you get a person that can truly move the world. It is in the heart where people can actually make a positive change for the world. And if a leader can do that anywhere they go, that's a thought leader.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that we are talking about the heart of it all, because that's what matters. Any leader, any type of leader, has to start with empathy and understanding. But let's talk about now the journey from vision to impact. How do you translate a vision for positive change into actionable steps that have a global reach? Brian.
Sure. So I think translating a vision into action requires a strategic approach. It begins with clearly defining your vision, understanding the global context, and identifying your key stakeholders. Now, that your vision can change over time is something that's important to understand too, and also the word stakeholders is much broader than you think. It's another word for community, and building your community is one of the most important things that we can do. And as positive change happens together with one life, one heart impacting another, which becomes a global ripple effect, just like Andrea's done here with the Global Empowerment Summit. It all started with one person who had a vision for positive change. And each step Andrea has taken in growth each year now for the last 4 years has made a deeper and wider global impact. And personally, it's been an honor to join her from the very beginning. I would say, adding to that, technology plays a crucial role too in reaching a global audience and a global community. Utilizing social media, online platforms, as we've been talking about, other digital tools. They can really help disseminate your message far and wide globally. And it's about creating a narrative that resonates universally and encourages people to engage and act together.
Enrique, how about you? Do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I got it. When you talk about translating a vision, you have to be able to speak other than your community speak, right? You have to be able to take that vision and appropriate it wherever it is that it is required and needed, and be able to impact those that are listening and hearing. A lot of times we try to communicate with our own speak, right? That our community speak. And then sometimes we just lose the whole vision as it's shared. But if you want to be positive, you want to bring actionable steps that will be a global reach. You have to speak world, and in order to speak world, you have to get out of your comfort zone. That leader has to not only have that vision, but be able to translate it into a way that the world can understand. And it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing. But once you can do that, then you can take appropriate steps culturally and things of that nature, where it can actually create a step-by-step way to reaching the rest of the world.
Well said.
And we're talking about global, right? Global leaders, global thought leaders. Becoming a global thought leader is undoubtedly rewarding, but it comes with its own set of challenges. So we're talking Nancy. I'll let Nancy answer this one first. What obstacles have you faced, and how did you overcome them?
I would say the first obstacle that I faced, and I think this is probably true for a lot of people, is believing that I was a thought leader, that I could be a thought leader. I think going into it, you start to think of thought leaders as this like top 1%, these people that are the highest high of expertise in their fields, or seen by millions and millions of people, when thought leadership starts with your very own voice. We're all thought leaders. The question is, for all thought leaders, ask yourself, are you acting like one? It's sort of like someone said to me recently, if I identify as an athlete, then my behavior has to be congruent with that, right? I've got to start eating well, and I've got to start exercising and doing research on the latest and greatest, new health articles and ways to, broaden my health, horizon. So my question to everyone is like, are we acting like a thought leader? Because that's the first part. So as I move on to this next challenge, I want to first leave this question with you. What are 3 things you already talk about as a thought leader? Because likely you're already doing it. And what can you do to elevate your voice? Those are 2 questions to ask. You are a thought leader. You've just got to start thinking like a thought leader and believing you are one. Now, another significant barrier, a challenge, and Enrique starts to talk about this, is overcoming cultural barriers. What works in one region may not resonate in another. What works with one group of people may not be the way to be heard with another. And it's beyond cultural competence. As Enrique said, it's experiential, and it's developing cultural curiosity. It's void of any judgment. And you have to learn, if you want to be heard, you need to speak in a way that people are going to hear you. And it's not to change who you are, or your voice, or what you're saying. It's just a basic, if I want to be heard, how do I make that happen? It's crucial to invest time in understanding diverse perspectives and tailoring your message, but you can't just study. You have to experience, talk to people, interact. We're always learning, and we have to remember that we are always a student, and that somebody always has something to teach us. And I'd say, finally, facing skepticism and resistance is really common. And having that persistence and staying true to your vision and overcoming those challenges and keep going, that's your resolve and your belief that you can make a difference is the best way to overcome those obstacles. Because in many ways, human nature, we fight change. So if you're running into resistance, that's actually a good sign that you're shaking up the status quo. And last thing, before I turn it over to Brian, I will say one of the challenges is burnout. I see it all the time with people in our masterminds, people I'm coaching, on our shows, is that it's something you're passionate about, and we tend to put all sorts of energy into it, and we start to neglect our own needs as we're taking care of others, and you can't fill from an empty cup. So that's one that I always like to put out there from the start. Nobody goes into this thinking, oh, I'm definitely going to experience burnout. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It doesn't happen that way. We all go in with the best of intentions, but burnout happens regardless. So keeping that front and center while you're doing everything that you need to take care of yourself before you can show up to others, that's super important that you are doing that, or that becomes your second biggest obstacle. First, believing that you are a thought leader, and second, if you can't show up, then it's hard to help people have your voice be heard in the way that's going to create that positive global change. Brian, what would you like to add?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I was having a technical glitch over here. Yeah, I just so well said. I think I'm actually going to pause. I think we should get to the next question, just because I want to be cognizant of time.
Oh, and I just quickly, before we do that, how does upbringing in your own cultures influence someone else's ability to become a thought leader. Because, and I think if we could quickly do this one, is what we were just talking about, is I think that culturally there are different norms and different ways that you are either encouraged or discouraged to express yourself. Is it a culture where you're supposed to stand out and you're encouraged to stand out? Is it a culture where, you're part of a larger group and you're not? So I think knowing our own cultures ourselves and understanding the beliefs and thoughts and inherited systems of beliefs that may be holding us back, and seeing, can I get comfortable, as both Enrique and Brian were saying, moving out of that comfort zone. This is my cultural norm. This is where I'm comfortable. I know some people won't like this. Am I ready and willing to take that risk? Sorry,
Yeah.
we can move on. I just saw that in the
No,
comments.
no, it's okay. I think I'll actually add on to the question. So, I think the other thing that I would add is that I think another challenge is just sheer volume of information that's available today. Cutting through the noise and making your voice heard requires strategic communication. And I think what's important to understand is that, not every idea needs to be your own to be a thought leader. For years, I had gathered insights from resources, articles, sharing them across LinkedIn and others, giving credit to authors and those cited, shining the light on them as I shared them with my community. And I became a source for my global community, right, as they would come to me for industry-related content. And it's not that it wasn't already available. I had taken the time to bring all of those insights together, saving my community time and having to look for it. So I was a valuable resource and a trusted entity, and building trust is essential, and transparency and authenticity and being genuine go a long way in establishing credibility as a global thought leader.
Okay, so let's see. We had that. As we're
sorry, Andrea, can you go back 2 comments? I just hadn't caught that.
I gotta find you guys. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's hear more on the challenges. Are there specific ones? We're hoping to get through some of this and then have time for question and answer. So keep putting those questions in that chat, because I'm also going to commit these two fine gentlemen to the fact that we can get these questions and get them answered for you if we do not get to them today live. We are all three very passionate, as you can tell, about thought leadership, very passionate about inspiring others, very passionate about creating this global community that can create positive change. So load up the questions. Hopefully we'll have time to get to them. We'll finish. We have, I think, 1 or 2 more of our frequently asked questions that we wanted to get to for you, and then we can come back around and make sure that we take some of those questions. I think we should have some time for that. Okay, so I think we are up to, the overcoming the challenges. That's a big one, and we can get more into that. Hopefully we have time. But as we wrap up, all 3 of us will answer this, but I'm going to start by asking the question: what advice would you give to an aspiring thought leader who aims to make a positive impact on a global scale? Enrique, why don't you start us off on this one?
Yeah, that's a good question. Now, one of the things that you have to remember is that you have to, like Nancy had already shared, you have to believe that you are. If you don't, start there, right? Start there. Focus on the fact that you can do that, because if you don't, you'll sway real quickly. You'll go away real quickly. It's almost like starting a podcast. Three episodes later, then you're done. So, number 1, believe that you can. Number 2, know your content. So whatever it is that you're going to be a thought leader about, know it like the back of your hand, because one thing is to have knowledge. The other thing is to be able to speak knowledge. The other thing is to be able to be called a thought leader. So believe you can. Do your homework on the topic that you want to be a thought leader, and launch. It's no good that you have it, you believe it, and you stay. Launch, because the world is bigger than your block. And I keep telling people that the world is bigger than your state. The world is bigger than your country. And in order to be a global impactful leader, you have to go. Now let's see what Brian got to piggyback.
You have to follow that up.
No, absolutely, so well said, Enrique. I would add embrace technology and leverage it to your advantage. It's a powerful tool, just like we're doing right now. It's a powerful tool for connecting with people worldwide. I would also say be authentic in your message. Now more than ever, people connect with authenticity and genuineness, and that connection is what drives positive change on a global scale.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Here I go. Okay, well, so if you haven't figured it out, I don't know how to answer anything just like quickly. So I have a couple of things here. First, be curious and open-minded. That's what drives all of this. Thought leaders are not people who know everything. They're people who seek to understand as much as they can, learn as much as they can. The world is constantly evolving and you need to be adaptable. And Brian sort of alluded to that and said it, and so did I earlier. It's your message, your voice, that can change over time. You're going to be learning and changing. The world is learning and changing. So don't be afraid to just continue to grow and let your message grow with you, and surround yourself with diverse perspectives. As Enrique said, it's bigger than your block, it's bigger than your state, it's bigger than your country. And if you're surrounded with only like-minded people, you tend to feel like, yes, okay, this is the way everybody thinks, but it's not. And you're going to need to be resilient to face those challenges. Importantly for me, which I think all of us would endorse to some extent or another, is don't take yourself too seriously. Mm-hmm. Being a thought leader doesn't mean that you have to be stuffy or show up a certain way. Let's be honest here. I'm in my pajamas and I threw on a sweater. It doesn't make me any less of a thought leader. It doesn't make my ideas and my insights any less valuable. I can't take myself so seriously that if someone says something negative about me or something I'm doing, that it's going to shut me down, or that I become so unrelatable. As Brian was saying, I listen, I'm real, I'm authentic. I'm out here living life and being human like the rest of you. Collaboration is huge. Never underestimate the power of collaboration. Mm-hmm. You've got organizations and people and all sorts of collaborations waiting so that you are amplifying each other's voices and the impact of your initiatives. Check your ego. That goes with don't take yourself too seriously, but also it's not just about our personal success. It's worth saying again. It's using our success, our platforms, our voice, our visibility and our influence to elevate voices that may not otherwise be heard, and to inspire others to act, to trust their voices, and to jump in and start. Because as Enrique said, if you're not in the pool, you can't swim. You just got to start. And Brian alluded to it, always give credit, shine the spotlights on others. It's not knowing everything, as I said, it's understanding as much as possible, seeking to learn and help others, and about the value we bring to others. And going back to the awards, I'm incredibly proud of all of those achievements, but mostly because they were bestowed upon me by my peers. And that's who matters. The people who are receiving your content, the people who are tuning in to learn from you, when your voice is being heard, you'll feel it, and people will reflect it back to you. And take every opportunity that you can to get your voice out there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid because you've never done it before. Publish, speak. Every opportunity, be on shows, any time that you could be heard, like today was an opportunity to be heard. Take it and run.
Yeah, and I just want to say and I'm going to totally mispronounce your name, Jaquevis. No apology allowed for being human.
No, we don't allow apologies for living life and being human. It's the best part of it. We have, it looks like, a few more minutes. I don't know, Andrea, if you want to put some of the questions up from the chat, or if anyone has questions they want to put into the chat now, anything that we can clarify. Let's see if I can actually read these because they're kind of small on my screen. Imagine you are hardly any water. What thought leader to help his tribe from dying from thirst? Wow, great question. anyone have a strong want to jump in, or?
Enrique, I want to know your answer.
So imagine you are in the Sahara Desert and there is hardly any water. What would a thought leader do to help his tribe from dying from thirst? Well, I hope he is well versed in digging down deep enough to get to water, right? Because if you don't know how to dig, you're gonna be in a hard position. But and I would say a thought leader, you don't actually have to have all the thoughts. Let me just start by that. Look around. Who has experience in getting water? Start there, and because that's a thought, and you're leading by getting the appropriate person to help. If there is no help, then I guess you better start digging. Everybody better start
Right.
digging, because
Make
there's
it-
water. You just got to dig down deep enough.
It's that collaboration piece, work
Collaboration.
together, right? And the same thing that I was thinking, I love that. That's what I love about being alongside of these two amazing humans. When what I'm thinking comes out of somebody else's mouth, like that's a beautiful thing. And I was thinking the same thing is like, hey, as a thought leader, I would turn around and ask people, right? The whole idea would be, what's your perspective? What's your view? What can you think of? I'm thinking of this. What is that? Like, often when I'm working with people and doing our masterminds, one of the things I love to say, because it's true, is what you just said actually made me think, right? You're sparking ideas for one another. So like Enrique said, you're going to either collaborate and dig together. You're going to reach out to the people around you, because you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the one with all the thoughts. In fact, it's important that you're not. If you're not allowing others to grow and think around you, you're not a very powerful thought leader. And I don't know that I would call you a thought leader, because leading thoughts is not just about your own. It's helping others in theirs.
Can you drop that mic that you got
Absolutely.
over there, Enrique? Just drop the mic.
If it didn't cost that much, I would.
Yeah, great minds think alike. I think it's so, incredible things happen when we come together, and I think it's also so important for everyone to feel like they're taking part, and that they're seen, and that they're heard, and that they're valuable. Again, the collective, the individual and collective voices coming together to find a solution. That's just how things get done. Brilliant, just brilliant answers.
Right. And Cher is asking, what do you think about collective thought?
Collective thought is necessary. We would not be the world would spin anyway, regardless whether you thought or not.
We'd just all be flying off of it.
Right. But collective thought is what has made the world go round, figuratively, right? It has made the world go round. It has made nations collaborate. It has allowed for ingenuity to rise, technology. If there were not a collective thought, meaning us three getting together or us five getting together, that is where, I don't like to refer to magic as it, but that is where the beauty happens of humanity, when you actually engage in collective thought.
All right. I see a question from the audience, which I'm going to just jump on right here. Why is diversity difficult when the merits are well proven? I'm going to go back to the fact that people like the status quo. People are comfortable in the status quo. Now, is everyone comfortable in the status quo? No. Is everyone represented in the status quo? No. And when you come out and you try to shake up the status quo, despite the well-proven, data that we have and how important diversity is and how nothing is really going to happen without it, without considering everybody, people who are comfortable with where they're at, are represented by the status quo, and it works for them, are going to push back. So don't stop. Keep pushing. When you get resistance, that's when you, again, dig deeper, push further. Come on, you're on the edge of getting someone to say, maybe this needs to change. Hope that answers the question. Okay, so what are the top tips to encourage thought diversity and thoughtful conversations? Why don't we each answer this, and then I think we're about at time. Brian, would you like to start here? You want Enrique to go first? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I love hearing Enrique.
I was waiting for mine. Top tips to encourage thought diversity and thoughtful conversation. I just said you don't have to own the thoughts, right? You don't have to be that, but you have to be able as a leader to manage all of those and come to a better position to be in. So I would say the first top tip for me, and I'll let you all share, is to get from blocking yourself. Get out of your way. Get out of your way, because if you as a leader or a thought leader are always trying to pursue, you know, your way, then you're an obstacle. Encouraging thought diversity, just ask. People love to share.
I agree. I think often we don't ask, we don't open the floor. And I will add to that, I think when we're creating these environments, if we really want to encourage thought diversity, we have to really be ready, right? If someone's disagreeing with you, if they don't like the way you're doing it, as a leader, you have to be ready. Additionally, I think you really have to value what people are saying. You can't ask for it and then dismiss it. I love, after like being in our masterminds, like sending out a group email to everyone and touching a little bit on what everyone said, because it's valuable and important, right? You were heard. Here's what it made me think, or I love the way that jumped into this, so that people really know that you're not just saying it. No, we value your thoughts. Like, you got to show people. You've got to make them feel seen, heard, loved, and valued. It's not just opening the floor. It's why I like to call it brave space. I'm not going to ask you to get vulnerable without me and just be here and I'll support you. I'm going to get vulnerable with you. Be willing to, it's the ugly, snotty, messy, uncertain, uncomfortable parts of growth.
Yeah, create a culture that is inclusive. You know, promoting diversity and fostering thoughtful conversations. It means it requires intentional effort, and it requires commitment to create that environment that's inclusive. So creating an inclusive culture, I think, is something that's really important. You know, again, incredible things happen when we come together, when people feel a part of something, when they feel that they are included. It changes everything. Yeah, I most definitely. So I encourage open communication. You know, again, as Nancy Deborah said, as she always does say it so well, you know, people want to feel seen, heard, loved, and valued. And when you do that, it really opens everything up.
There is no course, degree, the requirements that you have to check off on some list to be a thought leader. This space is open to everyone. So don't wait because you think, oh, I don't have the degree, I don't have the experience. You know, the idea is start where you are and start now, because there is no, you can go online and search it a million different ways. What do I have to do to become a thought leader? Show up and start. Show up, start, care, be curious, and invite people to join you.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I would say, when I know when she comes on, that's when I have
There
to.
she is.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
Oh, well, we have to
One more
wrap.
minute. I want
Yeah, just
to
1
just
minute.
quickly invite Enrique, Brian, and I'll do it as well. Enrique, tell us how everybody can connect with you and like what's coming up next. I'm so sorry. That's sort of important of how you get.
No apologies, Nancy Deborah. You're human.
That's
We're
right.
good. We're good.
Grace.
Yeah, the easiest way to connect with me is on LinkedIn, Enrique Acosta Gonzalez. I think I put it in the chat on YouTube. You can see that, or we can provide that in the comments. But that'd be the easiest way. And what's up for me? Oh my goodness, I'm in a couple of books coming up. One in December coming out. I believe that's my 7th book. And so yeah, just connect with me on LinkedIn. We'll keep it keep you all up to date.
Fantastic.
Brian, go ahead.
The 11th book in the groundbreaking history-making series based on the principles of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. It's called The 13 Steps to Riches. Subconscious Mind, it actually is... again, it is a collaboration. That one actually is talking about the mastermind in my head. It will be coming out next month, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, everywhere you can buy books. Another book coming out next month as well that I'm very excited about that I can't quite talk about in detail yet publicly. However, it is an incredible collaboration with insights from 150 impact makers on how to launch and lead and market and scale companies that impact the world. I will be keynote speaker at another global summit next month, the Conscious Wealth Summit, which I am honored to be speaking at. There's a book coming off of that one too. Nancy, Deborah, and I will both be speaking at Podfest Expo in January, which we are excited about. Nancy, Deborah, and I are both head deep in editing on a book we are passionate about coming out in 2024 on heart-centered leadership. Voice Your Vibe and our groundbreaking masterminds. We actually have a masterclass coming up December 8th. Becoming a global thought leader from vision to impact. Yes. And if you'd like to be notified about our next events and future trainings on thought leadership, it may be hard for you to do, but I have a QR code on the screen. If you pull out your phone and you scan that, then it will take you to the page where you can just drop your email and your name in there. But the link is voiceyourvibe.com/thought leaders. And that will get you there.
In the chat.
It's a lot of stuff. There's a lot more stuff, but Nancy, Deborah, please tell everyone about the incredible things you've got going on and how they can. Oh, and you can find me on LinkedIn. Yes, connect with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm a LinkedIn gal. You can find me on other social media platforms if you want to, but it's Nancy Debra, Debra, Barrows on LinkedIn. If you're having trouble finding me for any reason, everybody here on the screen knows how to find me. Worst comes to worst, send up some smoke signals, a carrier pigeon. We'll get it. We'll figure it out. As for what's coming up in this next month and year, I have 2 books, 3rd and 4th books in a 4-book collaborative series, the Book of Influence, that will be coming out in 2024. It's a modern take on the principles set forth by Dale Carnegie's award-winning How to Win Friends and Influence People. The first 2 volumes are out and available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, where books will be sold. And then the remaining 2 will come out in 2024. On December 6th, I am honored to have my story featured in Campfire Lessons for Leaders by Tony Martinghetti. Again, you'll find that everywhere. I will be speaking also at the Conscious Wealth Summit, but for 5 minutes. I get to do what I do, what I love to do best, which is just pour as much in as quickly as I can. Podfest you heard about. We heard about the upcoming masterclass. LinkedIn, I dropped my link for LinkedIn, and I dropped the link to find out what's coming next for Voice Your Vibe and Thought Leadership. I am so incredibly honored to be here with all of you. I am grateful for the time it took. You took to be here, your thoughts and your questions in the chat, to Enrique and Brian, and to you, Andrea, especially. You're incredible. And I know where this started with you doing it by yourself, completely by yourself, without eating or drinking or sleeping.
We did together with Brian. My husband was sleeping next to me.
And you didn't sleep. I don't know how you did it. Literally, just you're inspiring.
Yeah. I think the organizing it just took me 3 years to practice. I did it again this year, all the background again alone, and I gave away the spreading part. So this year we gave authority to the speakers to bring their friends. They are kind of managing their own panels, so it helps me so much. And we have a beautiful OG community that are with us for 4 years, and we are meeting every Monday, and they are spreading the news. So kind of there is slowly some help, and there is a lot of people volunteering. You remember, we are already around 600 speakers who have been talking at this forum since 2020 with this year. And I think it's just beautiful. Like there is so much good in the world, like so many people volunteering, taking their time after Thanksgiving when you would be with the family. Who thinks about coming here, right? But you are still here, so love you guys. It's amazing to have you here, really. Every single time since the beginning, I love to show you to the community. I love to showcase what you do, and we are very similar. And I think that's the difference.
Well, Andrea, we appreciate you and your heart, and I want to thank Enrique and Nancy Deborah again. Just
Thank you.
This is a holiday, and for taking your time. And I know Enrique's got his family downstairs running around, and Nancy Deborah's got cats running crazily, right, waiting to get fed. And
And
you
I'm
know,
turkey today.
yeah. Well, we all, I think I'd say on behalf of all of us, we all appreciate you so much, everyone that's with us globally around the world, for taking the time that you have, and we appreciate you and your hearts. And Nancy Deborah's got to come.
I want to say we were so excited to introduce Enrique to this community. We have known this community over the last several years, and when we were thinking who could we bring on that would match the energy of this community, who is brilliant and so accessible, it was a no-brainer. It was Enrique. So if you are not connected yet to him, because maybe you are to Brian and I from other years, please don't miss the opportunity to meet and connect with just amazing professional and expert in his field, but an even bigger, more amazing human.
Love
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Enrique. We will keep in touch as always. I will be bringing you back. Please keep our community informed about all the things coming up and popping up, Brian, Nancy, and Enrique, and I will be happy to share it to them. A lot of things are coming up next year, so I will be getting back to you and informing you on what's coming next. I think I see the clear vision after all these years, like where are we going, who are we, and what are we doing, and who is actually the person that we can help. So it's really, really a fantastic journey to do this. And I think that's connecting to your thought leadership. That I remember I was so lost. There was no hybrid conference in 2020. No one knew how to do that. It was just the beginning of technology, and we did a hybrid conference for 3 days from an exhibition center in Malaysia. And you were all part of that. And we didn't know how to connect the people in the audience and the people on the screen, because it was just not there yet, the technology. And now we are here, and we are planning bigger things, and it's much easier to do the technical part, because there's so much support. It developed so much in the last few years that if you are a real thought leader, you take that step, you get forward and you launch, like Enrique said. There's nothing to stop you, because it's just so much easier. So much easier. So have your voice done? Have your voice ready? As all the guys said today. And I have to jump to the other session, but I would love to have you still here for a while. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with your families. And I will see you soon. Love you guys.
Much love to you, friend.
Everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.